Yes, and of course, I'm going later on. We're going to be I don't know if I'll possibly call in and say hi. I'm not too. I'm kind of deciding, but I got a lot of things tied up right now. That's a possibility. I'm thinking of also possibly calling Farmhouse Network tomorrow night when Tommy Atsy 2010 and Bullfrog, face one another, and see what happens there.
Yeah, that should be interesting. What time does that
Oh yeah.
start?
I know Farmhouse start at 9 or 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So let's see how it goes, man. How those now those two have not faced each other since that appearance on Joe Cronin's Throwdown many months back, and obviously they were going at it back and forth. Obviously,
Right.
and I actually believe this. Apparently, Bullfrog actually called Tom. I guess he tried to call Tommy's work.
Oh
What?
gosh.
Yes, and it's like I don't know why he would do that. But then again, we don't know why Bullfrog would come on the air and say he's the greatest entertainer when he's not.
Right.
Geez, dude, give us a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the Wikipedia and information set up here.
Okay. Well, in Wikipedia, it's just I think Sheena.
Yes, it is. I have it right up there as well.
In fact, I think that's the name of the movie. Is just Sheena.
I think it's a Sheena or Sheena Queen of the Jungle. You know how some people like to add little ad libs or extra titles to it. You
Right.
got to remember the same thing we did with Episode 4, A New Hope. Back then, it was just simply called Star Wars.
Right. And then all of a sudden, it was episode 4, A New Hope.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And because people start to realize, wait a minute, Episode 5, what the fuck is going on here? The Empire Strikes Back. Holy shit! I thought it was part two.
Right.
You know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Arknolia and the Doctor, our movie series entitled "They're Movies So Bad That They're Good," and this is our second episode. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at a 1984 movie that starred former Charlie's Angel Tanya Roberts, former actor from the TV show Soap, Ted Wass, and I guess the character actor, I guess you would describe him, Donovan Scott. It came out in 1984, as you know. I remember I had the soundtrack for it. I was in love with the theme song there. It was a good song to not necessarily in love with, but it was a good song to play and to listen to at that time. It was called Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, or Sheena, in other words. The movie got panned by critics all over, including from Cisco and Ebert, and it just basically didn't do that well.
No,
And when you look,
from what I understand, it didn't do well at the box office either.
no, no, I remember seeing it one time at an old movie theater by 8 Mile in near Detroit, and I'm sorry, I was like, it was only me or two people saw that movie. It was only there. That's how bad the film was flopping.
Wow.
I know.
Man.
That's
Yeah.
how
Well.
bad.
Well, there were some reasons for that.
Yeah,
One
absolutely.
thing I'm reading now is the one of the people. The quote is: "The comic book concept was hopelessly outdated. It involved the killing of endangered species and also had racist overtones. We
Yeah,
decided to create our own interpretation of Saint Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. She is a
yeah,
modern contemporary woman in the
yeah,
jungle, no less. She is
yeah,
much more cognizant of ecology. Really,
yeah.
she is much less violent. Sheena is an 80s film, so Sheena is an 80s woman living in the jungle. She's in
Yes,
tune
right.
with the natural order. I thought she was there as a child. How did she learn all this? That's
Well,
my concept on that.
basically, she's an orphan who grew up basically in the jungle. This describes what happened to her parents in the beginning of the movie.
Right,
She was learning how to survive, thrive in those areas. She possesses the ability to communicate with wild animals and
right.
is pro-sniffing. What's that word? proficient to fighting with knives,
Right,
spears, bows,
right.
makeshift weapons. Her ventures include mostly encounters with slave traders, white hunters, native Africans, and wild animals there.
And she
And I
learned,
guess,
and
yeah,
she learned all this '80s stuff there
yeah, and
somehow.
all the, and believe it or not, she debuted in the British magazine Wags, issue number 46 in January 1938. It was a She was created by S.M. Jerry Iger, Iger, who ran his own small studio, which was Universal Phoenix Features, or UFP for short, who commissioned Mort Meskin to produce phototype drawings of Sheena. Now, UFP was one of the handful of studios that produced the comics on demand for publishers and syndicates, who was a client. Editors Press Service distributed the feature to Wags, saying that he could no longer afford to pay Will Eisner as a freelancer. He co-founded Eisner and Igner, which confirmed the work of continued the work of UFP. But Iger bought out Eisner when, according to Eisner went to Bruce propaganda for the U.S. Army. But other sources say that Eisner left so he could create a thing called the Spirit to help hide the fact that their studio consists only of themselves. The two guys signed it their photos. I guess what's his name? Photosandum. With the name, I guess it's under a different name, if I'm correct. W. Morgan Thomas. As they're said in the inspiration for the character's name was H. Rider Haggard's 1886 jungle goddess novel, She. Now, of course, that will go on to produce a whole bunch of comics, a lot of storylines. Now, Sheena is the blonde young daughter of Cardwell riveting. What's his name? Let's see here. Dang, I wish I had better pronunciation of words and shit like that. This is one thing that makes me want to beat myself over. Um, she is the daughter of Cardwell Rivington, who is exploring Africa with his daughter in tow. When Cardwell dies accidentally drinking a magic potion made by Koba, a native witch doctor, she is left as an orphan. Sheena is. Koba raises the young girl as his daughter, teaching her the ways of the jungle and various Central African languages. The adult Sheena becomes the queen of the jungle and requires a monkey sidekick named Chim. Now, according to the Encyclopedia of Golden Age Superheroes, she is assisted by the great white hunter Bob Reynolds. She fights everything under the sun, including but not limited to hostile natives, hostile animals, giants, a huge super ape, something called the Green Terror, saber-toothed tigers, voodoo cultists, gorilla men, devil apes, blood cults, devil queens, dinosaurs, army ants, lion men, lost races, leopard birds, cavemen, serpent gods, vampire apes, etc., etc., etc.
Busy
Now,
girl.
of course, yeah, exactly. Now, originally costumed in a simple red dress from the start, issue number 10 of Jumbo Comics debuted her well-known leopard skin outfit, the loincloth, be later on in a couple of episodes of the TV series and the movie as well. Now, Sheena's home village is destroyed, leaving her with a white safari guide named Bob Reynolds, who she often called Bob Rayleigh or Bob Raybum, who becomes her mate. In other carnations, her mate is a man named Rick Thorne. Now, she's able to speak, I guess in a certain way, I guess it's where She's able to speak in sentences, from what I understand, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and it's funny because she got really fluent in English in the
Hmm.
movie, which was kind
That's
of
right.
weird.
Yeah. Now there was a TV series that aired from 1955 to 1956, and she was played by Irish McCalla. You know, she was the original Sheena there for that time of period. And of course, the movie would come out in 1984 with Tanya Roberts,
Right.
who as was previously one of part of the Charlie's Angels lineup there.
And
And
they
of
kind of
course,
picked her because she was a co-star in Beastmaster.
that's right. Yeah, that started Eric Singer, for I understand there. I remember seeing that movie as well.
Yeah.
Those kind of movies were like big, I guess, around that period of time. That, Dragon Slayer, and a few others. And of course, we cannot forget the first Terminator, which, by the way, came out originally on Canon Films of that year.
Right.
It's just that it became so successful that I guess don't know was Paramount or whichever they decided to pick it up and now distributing it. And now, of course, we cannot forget Gina Lee Nolan, who used to star in Baywatch. She became Sheena in the syndicated TV series from 2000 to 2002.
Yeah, that lasted, I think, 2 years.
Yes. Now, now the movie takes place, of course, and gives the details. Apparently, a little bit of twist there, a little bit of twist of plot of how she became an orphan. Her father and her mother apparently perished in some sort of earthquake or something that occurs there, and she's later found by this female shaman, and we will call her Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. We will raise her of our ways and such and such and such, you know. And she grows up to become just that. Now,
Right.
the movie, sadly, as you know, bombed in theaters. It was nominated for 5 Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Picture, Worst Actress, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and also Worst Musical Score. As I
Huh.
mentioned, the only thing I appreciated was the theme music, and that was about it. Everything else was kind of bleh. And now,
Sounded a
like
lot like
when I
incidental music.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, it has, however, found some cult success on home video and on DVD. And as we mentioned, it has now become a cult film or a cult classic alongside Rocky Horror and Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Right. People
Now,
watch it because they can't believe it's that bad.
yeah, but then again, the good thing is, as I mentioned, seeing Tanya Roberts, a hot blonde girl in a loincloth bikini, or that's always considered a hot thing to look at, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing what drew me to seeing that movie was that image of that alone. I forgot the name of the magazine that I saw around that time, months before the movie came out, and it was spotlighting this upcoming movie, and it showed Tanya Roberts with some sort of a chimp by her side, and I think it was just a chimp. Her hair was dyed blonde because it was originally auburn in the beginning,
Right.
and then also she was wearing, as I described, the bikini-like loincloth outfit, and it was just like, wow, holy cow! I was like bedazzled by that. I literally was looking at that photo for God knows how long. Said, damn, holy cow,
Yeah, I got to go see
whoa.
this movie.
Yeah. Oh. In
Yeah.
fact,
Well, there's a
in fact,
thing. Go ahead.
go ahead. In fact, one of the thumbnails I'm using right now kind of like spotlights that outfit right now, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Now, here, the movie is like this. Now, a cave-in, Mike, the geologists, Betty and Philip Ames, are killed in a cave-in, leaving their daughter Janet as an orphan. She, as I mentioned, she's adopted by a shaman, princess of the Princess Elizabeth of Toro, and because of a prophecy about a cave-in, when the sacred mountain cries out, She is viewed as a child of the gods and renamed Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. As she grows up, Sheena learns much from the shaman about the lore of the jungle and the ways of all its creatures. She is even more entrusted with the secret of telepathic communication with animals. And the way she did this, she would put her fingers up to her forehead and communicate from there. Outsiders rarely disturb their territory, since that part of Tigora is under the special protection of King Jabelana. But there's a lot of trouble brewing in that area there. The king's ex-football champion younger brother, Prince Atwani, played by Trevor Thomas, is conspiring with his brother's fiancee, Countess Xanda, to have the king assassinated so they can exploit the titanium-rich Zamboni land. This may not have something to do with the healing process of the soil, but it is one of the things explained in the movie. Now, experiencing the vision foretelling the death of the king, the shaman tries to warn the king himself about this, but sadly, she is arrested by corrupt police officers working for Xanda. Now, Vic Casey, played by Ted Wass, who previously was on the Pro TV program Soap, and his buddy Fletch, played by Donovan Scott, who is a cameraman, are in there to do a story on the former football player when the king is killed, and the shaman was brought out and framed for the whole thing. Vic and Fletch realize they have a much bigger story than they expected. Now, heading to the prison to interview the shaman, they bear witness to the shaman's rescue by, of course, Sheena and her animal friends, an elephant, a zebra, and a chimpanzee. They escape back to the jungle after destroying the prison. Both Vic Casey and Fletch follow. Soon, however, the shaman dies from her injuries. I guess you don't want to be in African prison, if I understand, or any other prison
Well,
in
yeah,
those regions, because they will fuck you up, dude. They will fuck you up. I can imagine what Nelson Mandela must have endured all those years in captivity in South Africa, for crying out loud.
right.
Yeah. Wow, man. Now, Atwadi observes the services of Colonel Jorgensen and a small army of soldier mercenaries, the Black Berets. Their mission is to get the Zamboni people to open their territory for strip mining. Vic Casey must join forces with Sheena to stop the evil prince and his army, and along the way, Vic and Sheena do fall in love. Now, the climax of the film takes place on the African, what's it called here? The
Serengeti
San,
Desert.
yes, yes, where Sheena leads her people against the mercenaries and the evil prince. Sheena successfully shoots Atwani in the heart with her bow and arrow, fulfills the prophecy, but she's also positioned to be hit by Atwani's vehicle. Remember, they're facing one another. Her on her zebra and him on in a just massive Jeep. He was pretending to run her over, and
Right.
this is all out in the open, as you could probably see there. No, yes. Now, Vic Casey saves her life by crashing into Atwandi's vehicle, resulting in lots of severe burn wounds. Now, towards the end of the movie, Vic is healed from the earth, wants to stay with Sheena, but realizes if he tells her story to the outside world, other corporations will destroy her home and everything else. So Vic and his cameraman buddy leave on the airplane back to New York City. Before leaving, Sheena records a farewell message on his tape recorder, wishing him a safe journey home. And at the end, a saddened Sheena rides away on her zebra there.
Now, the budget for this thing was $25 million, and the box
Yes.
office drew under 6 million,
Wow.
5.778 353. and that's what you call a loss, big
Wow,
loss.
man.
So
That is
the studio wasn't real happy that. That's why you don't see a Sheena 2.
that's why, and that's right. And very rarely do bad movies like that often get a sequel unless they people keep speaking about it, keep talking about it, keep referring to once in a while here and there on either social media and such. It's kind of funny, that it's even dang gummit. I'm lost for words right now. I forgot what I was going to say. I'll let you take over, man.
Oh, well, I
Yeah,
don't really have much to add other than, they later, I guess in a sense, they had a sequel because they had the weekly series several years in the
yeah,
future with Gina Lee Nolan. And
yeah.
actually, that was a much better produced show.
Productive. Yeah,
And
that was a lot better produced at that time. Of course, this it was a syndicated series along with the Fame, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and all the other spin-offs that came afterwards. So many. At that time, syndication was the way to go because the chances of getting more viewers than on that level was a lot more greater than on the networks.
yeah, it's funny because
Because that,
syndication before all of that was basically reruns of network shows. And then all of
that's
a sudden
correct.
they just started, oh, let's try something new. And now you got syndications, mostly news shows. And
Yeah, everywhere. And the chances of being rejected because syndicated TV, have a better chance of accepting original material other than the reruns and rebroadcasts, or than the other stuff that they were showing, whether it's the afternoon cartoons for the kids or old time movies during the prime time era.
right.
And plus, you got to remember, you get you don't have to worry about networks jumping down the executives or the producers' throats. You'll make this show better, do this with that show. You don't have to worry about what they call jumping the shark.
Yeah, because there was so many shows in the network days that when the network executives stepped in and made their changes, the shows got worse for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at Happy Days. Look at the Brady Bunch. I mean, look at I mean, the
Star Trek,
term by the Star Trek, and by the
Outer
way, the
Limits.
term, yeah. By the way, the term jumping the shark came from an episode where Fonzie on Happy Days makes his jump over a shark in some sort of a park area in the water there.
Right.
Now, many people are like, "Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind?" That's where the term came from. It's where the networks, come up and the TV the executives come up with this outlandish idea to some sort of storyline to just not only bring in ratings, but bring in the, ooh, let's talk about this tomorrow morning at work or while we're on coffee or something like that. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and they have a much diluted idea of how that should be. And
Yeah.
they're living in their own little world for the most part.
Yeah. Or they can come up with this stupid idea, bringing in some cute kid, like a relative or something like that. I mean,
Oh yeah,
many programs have done that. Family Ties, The Brady Bunch, you name it.
yeah. Well, Happy Days did the same thing.
Yes, exactly. They all do it, no matter what. Keep the show momentum going, no matter what. Don't let it die out. There's money to be made from this program, so let's keep the momentum going. Every executive has been guilty of doing this. Eric Bischoff doing it during the NWO run with WCW in between 97 and 1998 by adding all these extra members when it should be just a trio, which was Hall, Nash, and Hogan. They had
Yeah,
to add in the Giant, Scott Steiner, Buff Bagwell, Randy Savage, you name it. Keep that momentum going. That's how they look at it. Yeah. Now, Columbia Pictures in 1980, here, according to the story here, the head of production, Frank Price, agreed to finance the movie Sheena with a budget from $7 to $10 million. Bo Derek was mentioned as a possible to star in that movie. But although someone said all reasonable cast suggestions are indeed welcome.
Yeah, in fact, Bo
Now,
Derek did essentially the same thing when she was in that Tarzan movie.
yeah, I remember the exactly. I remember the. That's also for again, Bo Derek at that time was the big thing thanks to that movie 10 from 1980 with Dudley
Oh, yeah.
Moore. Yeah, and it's also safe to say that the braids that she had at that time also became stupendously hot. Every other woman was getting them as well.
Yeah,
Now, according to the development here, story here, Paul Arato, I think that got that. Hope I got that name right. He was suggested by a threat friend that the comic book Sheena would make a good movie. Atro thought something went off in my head. I realized that it was the most commercial idea. It had action, had a sexy mythic goddess like individual who was actually one of those true comic book heroines. Now, he bought the rights to set up the production company with Alan Rinsler and succeeded investing in Universal Pictures with Raquel Welch attached to play the lead. And this
that
is
would have
back
been
in 19
interesting.
exactly. And who cannot forget Raquel Welch in the movie, that prehistoric movie,
1 million
1,000
BC.
year? Yes, exactly. And that, I mean, that was, let's face it, we all get off at seeing women in skimpy loincloths, do we not?
Well, especially when they're built like her.
Yeah, exactly. And built like Tanya Roberts. I mean, like I said, damn, I was doing that photo of her in that magazine for God knows how many months. Damn. Now, Arato says, at first it looked incredibly easy. After 2 months, I had an office in the studio, and Raquel Welch was going to play Sheena. Robert and Laurie Dillon wrote a script with a tongue-in-cheek approach to the material. Universal invested about 65,000 in the project. The studio then decided not to proceed on with the movie. The producers took the movie to Film Ways, which then had a production. Ed Feldman wanted to have a quote unquote create a out and out adventure story with, of course, humor added in, but basically elaborate adventure. Feldman had a poster design illustrating his idea and showed it to one of the executives at United Artists Pictures, who
That probably
agreed
would have
to
made a better.
finance a new script.
That probably would have made a better
Better
movie.
idea, yeah. Now, Michael Sheff and David Spector did a screenplay. Raquel Welch, who had been Universal's choice for the role, was still a possibility, but he's Feldman said at this point they had no actress in mind. We, I wouldn't say we wouldn't go with Raquel Welch, but I wouldn't want to rule out a worldwide search either. So basically, her role was in the limbo at that time. Now, that same executive, who financed this new script. I guess his name was Mike Medavoy. He left United Artists, and the project went turnaround. Arato now owed 65,000 to Universal and 85,000 to United Artists for the money they put into this project. He later took Sheena to Avco Embassy Pictures, who did a search for possible stars, and then they also passed because they didn't have any money. Remember, this was independent movies, and at that time, movie studios like that did not have that much money. Now, eventually in 1980, Columbia's head of production, Frank Price, agreed to finance the movie Sheena with a budget from, of course, 7 to 10 million. And as I mentioned, Bo Derek was possibly could have been a star. Now, as you stated, the concept was way outdated. Killing of endangered species, racist overtones, and plus the concept, that greed. The greed of the power that gets in your head is basically the concept of this movie. Once you're in the position of power, all that greed comes right to your head. You can have this. I want this so bad I could taste it. I want this corporation, I could taste it. I want control of this. You know, too many times we have seen, world leaders and politicians fall into that trap excessively, whether it's here in the States or elsewhere in the world, whether it's in China, Russia, or England, or Iran, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you just see that kind of stuff everywhere.
You know, you know. Now, Columbia did finance a script from David Newton, who had written the original Superman from 1978 that starred Christopher Reeve. It took a year for him to write it. It said the screenplay was worth waiting for, though because it was more realistic and it worked out much better. And we got Casey is Raw calling in, believe it or not.
Oh, I wonder if
I
he's seen this movie.
I know. Hold up, Casey. To take your call right now, I have to let Arknolia be on the. Best thing to do, Casey, is that I have to add you into the call later on here, because if I were to take your call right now, Arknolia would be in limbo for the time being. So have to be a while. I will add you into the call, dude. Anyways, son of a name go. And it's kind of funny. He's calling right now, and my phone is not even going off. Believe it or not. Usually it does it at the same time.
Huh. Well, he might have had something to add.
All right, I'm
You
gonna
never know.
tell you what. I'm gonna add him right. In fact,
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead and
add the
add him and
dude
let's
right.
see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Casey's a cool guy, man.
Yeah.
He is. All right, let's see what we got here or what he wants to say. Yeah, he's online right now. Okay, we're gonna add into the call there. See what he has to say here. A few minutes, folks, to see what we got going on.
I'm still here, I guess.
There he is. There he is. What's up,
No, that's
Casey?
me.
No, I
What's
mean,
up?
okay.
There he
Hey,
is.
what's going on, Casey? How's everything going?
Oh, dude, I'm just been doing what I call my video game hunting.
Oh, nice. You're hanging out getting new video games. Have you been listening to the show so far?
No, I saw you online. I figured
Yeah,
this. So I
yeah,
figured this.
me and my boy Arknolia, we're doing a series called "Films So Bad That They're Actually Good." We're spotlighting a movie from 1984 called Sheena, Queen of the Jungle right now.
Oh my god!
I know.
Well, that's
We got a
nothing.
few.
Last week was Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Huh.
I've never seen neither. Like, what are they so horrible? They're good.
You
Oh
have
Or
man,
got to see both of these films. If for
yeah,
nothing
they're
else, sit there and be entertained saying, who the heck made this stuff?
or let alone write it or cast this person or that cast that person. But it's very interesting, and we were discussing the dialogue of the movie as you called in, dude.
sorry crashing in. I just wanted to say
No, it's
hi.
good, guys.
That's
No,
fine.
it's good that it's good that you popped in to say hi, man. Are you going to be on Minnesota's show later on tonight after
Yeah.
Mars Mirrors? All right, it's nice. I think he's going to be. Now is Bullfrog going to be there? Because I
Oh
want
my.
to. Because if he is, I want to fuck with him. I want to fuck with him the same way you did on the Foul Mouse a couple weeks back. That is
Oh
still one
my
of the
god.
classics. That was still one of the classics right there, man.
Honestly,
Oh.
I think the guy doesn't work at all because it looks like he's always on the shows. So I mean,
Yeah,
here's
he doesn't have no life. He's probably on disability or something like that, which explains why he has such a crappy ass futon for the bed that he has, let alone a crappy ass couch and
Well,
also that World War II lamp.
well, Feslev has a question for Casey as Raw.
Yeah, yeah.
He
What's up?
says, he says, what video game would be similar to this movie, like a female version of Tarzan? Is there one out there?
Mm.
I think I would say let's go retro for the Atari 2600. There's a game called Jungle Hunt,
Mm.
Oh, I
and
remember that
there
one.
Yeah, that one I would say probably comes to mind. Where I think the character is goes goes from vine to vine, and actually, I think there was a lawsuit against the game because they used the trademark Tarzan sound. Go, oh,
Yeah, that famous how he did. Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
Weissmuller was the best with that one.
Yeah. We'll also give a credit. We'll also give credit to Carol Burnett. She used to do that a lot on her primetime shows. A lot of times.
Oh yeah, she could do that beautifully.
Yeah, she did. Absolutely. Yeah.
but yeah, that was a good question though. But
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you invite Bullfrog, that's like inviting anyone, like someone that's begging to be on the show. So he's
Of course, we
Well,
all know that he's always begging to be on shows. Remember when I was on call with JB Sports Radio a couple of months back? First thing he said, it was just him and me, and first we were in the conversation. The first thing he said was, "No, I do not want Bullfrog here. I do not want Bullfrog here." I just said he was probably running up to JB for help. Please, JB, take me in. I'll bring you. I'll bring you ratings. I'm the entertainer. And he also did the same thing with Mars Mirror and Foulmouth Ken. And when he was booted off Monetize This, he said, I'm just going
yeah.
Ken show. It's like, Jesus Christ. Filthy Mouth Gamer said it best. He's starving for attention. He's thirsty for that. And guess what? The best thing to do is to probably mute him or remove him without call just to piss him off, or maybe I just keep on talking and not pay attention to a damn word that he's saying there, no matter how much he bitches and screams.
I'm wondering what's the deal with these two guys, where they both, at least Tommy has a little bit reason to have this, but they both think they're stars. I
I don't know.
mean,
I guess.
Bullfrog.
Well, Tommy, myself, and Bullfrog have autism. You understand? I used to think that I was a hot shit back when I was around my 20s and early 30s. But in my 50s, I realized I wasn't shit back then. It's got to go through a lot of hard times to really humble yourself. So as you can see, I learned from my mistakes. And now I understand autism. Do people with autism often do have arrogant traces within them? And I think that's probably what it is. And I'm thinking possibly, I think what it is that Bullfrog probably got put down for all of his life by either his parents or everybody else. So he's using this as a way as to prop his ego and his self-esteem up. The problem is, the difference is he has to instead of just doing shows that taking 25 minutes to get one single word out of his mouth there, he needs to come up with the better topics, bring on better people, and also, well, I'm not saying Joe was bad or Klamath Ken is bad, but here's the thing: he needs to watch what he says. He needs to think about what he's about to say first,
Yeah,
because so many times, like, have you heard what he said on Tuesday Night's Throwdown?
I heard they got all angry. I don't know if this was on the show, but where he called a Wandy
it
a
was on
little
the
Yes,
show.
yes, he
N
was.
word.
Yes, he did. He did multiple times, a couple of times, because Wandy and Bolsey were like blowing up his Skype and Twitter. He was telling Joe, Joe, make it stop. It's like Joe can't do nothing. Tell your boy to quit. It's like he thinks that Joe Cronin runs this community. I'm like, no, this community runs its own damn self.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
People
Yeah.
run to Joe, Ken, and JB, telling them stop these people. I'm like, that's not their job to control them.
Nope,
And
exactly. And the more Bullfrog screams and hollers, that's when they got him under their control. Think about that.
Yeah, because if you prod them, well, it's poking the bear essentially.
Yeah.
You prod them, and they're gonna react, and then they're gonna say, "Well, this is fun," and they're gonna do it some more.
Yeah, there are people out there who get a twisted pleasure out of doing that.
I'm guilty of it. I mean, I used to tease Tommy a little bit,
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
but like I admit to that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but
generally try to stay out of those things, but sometimes I can't resist.
Mm.
oh no, once if someone's if Tommy says something stupid or bullfrog, it's kind of hard not to call them out on them.
That's
I
true
mean,
as well.
say
We all have.
I I say stupid shit all the time, and you know how much I get ridden for it.
Well, you
Yeah,
react well to it.
so do I.
You do.
I remember I have trouble getting my words out. Ken pointed that out. I sometimes said a few things when I'm not supposed to, and I got pointed out for that. So I,
Yeah.
realized next time I'm not gonna say that stupid shit no more. Now, let me give you an example of something. As you know, I lost a girlfriend back in 2001. I was on Monetizes with Joe, Dave, and all the other crew there.
Mm,
And this is prior to Mars Mira coming in, and the whole thing started when they started going off on one another, such and such. There was a donation mentioning my deceased girlfriend Nancy. I'm sorry, Earl. This. I'm sorry that. I don't know if it was trying to get me triggered, to get me sad, to get me crying. I just said nothing. I said absolutely nothing. I just sat there and made no sound, no nothing. Because if I did, they would have got me right then. So,
exactly.
yeah, that was the only donation or any other mention of Nancy. Nothing else hereafter. They couldn't convince me to break down or lose my shit. When you do that, as I said, that's when they got you.
Well, that's why every time they do a Crystal or Debe thing, and Tommy reacts, they just get into it deeper because of that.
Yeah,
If he would
yeah,
just leave it alone,
Oh yeah.
it'd go away.
yeah, yeah. But at that time, but then again,
The thing is,
also you got to remember that
uh,
people with autism often do have mindsets like children at times.
Yeah, I read a definition of that,
And
and that's
and
that's
Tommy
kind of
and Tommy is just returned at 30 years old. And you also got to remember, despite being in the age he is in, he's going to have still that little childlike mindset. Leave me alone. Stop you screaming like a children. You will have childlike
mm,
moments, believe it or not.
right, right.
oh, I, I mean, I could see definitely the autism out of Bullfrog. Tommy is not that
Absolutely.
bad, and then quite frankly, if you told me you didn't have it, I believed you because I couldn't tell at all.
Well, and I often display that a couple of times when I try to get a word out. I fumble here and there. So,
Mm,
and plus, a lot of times when I feel like I'm put on the spot, I got to come up with something quick here. I got to come up with something there.
Yeah,
You know, so, but I think Bullfrog has it worse than what me and Tommy has.
I think
definitely.
so. That's the way I'm seeing it. Same thing.
I think he has something more. Whereas now the thing is, Keith Barber, he claims to have Asperger's syndrome and autism there. You think he's but the problem with him I have is that he has no real mindset of his own here.
I don't know the guy.
Be glad he's an idiot. There were many times I wanted to smack him one upside his head because
You know,
here's the thing. He has no, he doesn't speak his own mind with it when it comes to him working with YR. YR has to give him things to say. And even Barbara even admitted it. I'm a better person when I'm handed lines to say. I'm like, no, you're a better person when you speak your own mind.
yeah.
No.
I mean,
That's
when I go on this, if I don't say anything or what I'm saying, I'm doing off the cuff. I don't need a fucking script. I
yeah.
mean, it'd be nice to have like a joke on the on for the ready or wherever on the cuff, but
Yes.
like having a script.
Yeah. And the Fest Sub said it best. Bullfrog is scared of Dr. Earl. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Here's something else. So it's like Tommy was scared of me for how many months? Even Joe
Yeah.
Crony pointed that out. Now, here's the thing. Bullfrog, I have been able to do a lot with my channel. I film videos at this location, that location, this location there, whether it's out in the fields, at a shopping mall. I was able to get clips from nightclubs, performances of bands playing here. I was able to get do music streams on my channel here and there. Some of them, and plus, I also have a SoundCloud account going on right now. I have about 3 tracks on that page there as well. Also, now what has Bullfrog done other than his stupid little shows from the same location, the same spots?
Yes, sitting on this fucking couch.
Yeah, and also credit to me for the thumbnails that I use on my live streams here.
Like, shoot. Like he said, like I said before, he says he works for the government, and like honestly, yeah,
No, he
uh,
takes money from the government.
yeah, he just wants to say it like that.
He does.
Like
And,
this,
here's something else. He also said that I was told, told Shannon, Ken's wife, that he works online. So what do you do? Webcam?
Wow.
oh no,
Well, apparently working online is having his own little shows.
Yeah, that's
oh,
about it.
am
That's
I
all he's
losing
got.
you guys?
No, I would hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
Well, you guys,
Kind of losing him a little bit there.
Yeah, it sounds like he's
I'm
driving
at
under a
my house,
bridge.
so it's
Are you
technically
driving on the bridge, dude? Because that usually does it. Are you heading far away? Because usually the signal usually gets lost when you drive out the farther regions.
bitch.
Wow, that's
Uh,
probably what it was.
Nah, what it is, I was tearing between. I'm at my house, so
Okay.
uh, so I'm the furthest away from the Wi-Fi right now.
I
So
see.
so I just turned it off, so I'm on my data right now.
I see. There are many times that when I get out in the car to go somewhere, and the first thing I want to put on is whichever show there. I usually have to
Mm.
wait till it starts, until I get out of the driveway for the thing to start
Mhm.
working, so I know where you're coming from right there.
hey Casey, I
Oh
got a
yeah.
question for you. Are you familiar with what
Oh
me and the doctor have been doing?
yeah. I know you guys been doing reviews lately.
It's not just that. We've been discussing, the music scenes from the 50s, the 60s. We are to have a thing called TV Memories, where to talk about old shows that we used to watch back in the day.
Yeah.
We're going to do the third part of our Star Trek, the original series project there. And we also got a couple other things where we'll probably end on discussing the Monkeys TV
No.
series, Miami Vice, and all these the cop shows throughout the years. We're planning on doing something like that. Or at least I got a few that those are my ideas actually.
That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea. The only ones
Yes.
back in the day as cops shows I used to watch was Chips.
Oh yeah, with Erica Estrada and Larry Wilcox, or in that was the
Yeah.
big thing back then.
What about
Oh
Columbo?
god. Oh, I
Uh,
love Columbo. How can you not like Columbo?
yeah.
That is
What?
a fantastic show.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
man.
the only
Beretta.
thing, the only thing I have a complaint about Columbo is that they show you who did the crime at the beginning. I wish.
Oh yeah, but the fun of that is watching to see how he's going to trap the guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the fun of that one. Yeah, you're right. We know ahead of time who did it. We even see the murder. But
That's
Yeah.
true. Yes.
but the fun part is figuring out how is he going to trap the guy? Where's the guy going to trip up? And how's he going to catch him?
Yeah.
Because
I'm.
the criminal's
Well,
always sitting there going, "Oh, I can fool this guy. He's a bumbling idiot," and he gets him every time. And it's always the weirdest way to do it too.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes, yeah, we got to definitely do an archie about all the best police dramas that on TV there. Of course, we got to include one of my favorites, the Law and Order franchise there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They
I
were all
love.
good.
Yeah, absolutely, including one from called the Law and Order UK. I don't know if you remember seeing a couple
Really?
episodes of that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there
there
was
was one
another
in
one
England.
called I think Law and Order Los Angeles or something like that.
Yeah, that was very short-lived, as well as Trial by Jury there.
Yeah, and
Got to
I
then
never,
definitely this.
I think my
I
favorite
never
one of the
heard,
Now go
I
ahead,
never,
Casey.
I never heard neither of those, the UK and the LA version.
Yeah, I remember reading about that a couple of years back, and for I understand, it just came and went, for some reason.
yeah,
And the UK one, I don't know how long that lasted, but it was, of course, inspired by Dick Wolf's main baby there, and there's just,
right.
I guess it ran for a couple of series or seasons. How they go over it over there, I'm not too sure.
Well,
But I did.
I liked SVU, and that one ran a long time.
Oh, yeah, it's still running. It's still
Yeah,
running, but believe it or not, that's the only one that's running right now,
Yeah,
as a matter of fact. It may
yeah.
outpass.
and I also liked CSI. That was or
Oh,
Law and Order. C was it Law and Order
Criminal
CI?
Intent.
no,
Criminal.
CSI.
No, I
That's a
mean
separate
there was a
franchise.
Law and Order, either CI or CSI that
No, it's
ran for a
no.
while. I don't remember exactly what the name of it was.
Well, the originals were the ones we know are the original Criminal Intent, Special Victims Unit.
Criminal Intent. That's
There,
the one I was thinking of.
yes, with Jeff Goldblum, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Alicia Witt.
You
That
know,
was more super.
I've never seen the ones with Jeff Goldblum. I'm wondering how good those were.
Well,
It
those
was
came
pretty
later.
good. Yes, later on. Yeah, I guess if D'Onofrio left for a long while, and they brought him in as well. You also got the guy who played Mike Logan, the detective from the original, Chris Noth,
Yeah,
aka Mr. Big from Sex and the City as well.
yeah, I really. Did you guys ever watch the movie?
Um, the which movie? The Sex and the City? No, I'm not. I don't really pay
No.
attention. It's a chick flick. I don't really watch chick flicks there. Yeah.
No, I meant Law and Order movie.
Oh,
I
I didn't
didn't
know
even
there
know
was
there
so
was
long.
one. I didn't either.
I'm just going to ask myself. Yeah, when did this happen?
It was old. I think it was like around between the first series, between the first and second one.
I remember
And
there was a one Law and Order movie, but that was way back in 1976, and I think it was not
uh,
related to the franchise.
oh no, this is with I think the original crew. I
Hmm.
think that's. I think the movie was like 2.5 hours long, give or take.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, Law and Order, the original one had several original crews.
that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
True. I'm talking about the one that. What's the lawyer? God, what's his? The first DA that was on there trying to meet
oh,
Uh,
the.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name.
mm,
But yeah, I
lawyer.
know. Yeah, he was the law part,
The
or
prosecutor.
actually the order part.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
That
remember.
would be. Which one? The original had a few. There was Ben
no,
Stone, somebody named whose last name was Cutter, but the main one was Jack McCoy, played by Sam
Jack
Waterston.
McCoy. He
Yes,
was in that. He was in that show for a long time.
a long
yeah.
time. He made a few appearances in Special Victims Unit as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think. Ben Stone. I
Yeah.
think he was part of the movie too.
When did this movie came out? You said it came out in between the was
I,
it a TV movie or a theatrical movie or
I believe it was a TV movie.
Oh yeah, no surprise there. Probably definitely was on NBC. We got to definitely look at. You definitely got to look it up for us and put it in the Skype chat there when you get a
Yeah,
chance here.
yeah,
Okay.
I could definitely do that or
Yes,
find it.
definitely. All
But
right.
yeah, what about Murder She Wrote?
That was
You ever?
interesting. That was good.
Yeah, I remember watching. My mom was a big fan of that.
Well, I like whodunits like that, where it's a mystery, and you find it. Well, like the old Perry Masons,
Yes,
Yeah.
the same thing. And that's what's basically what Criminal Intent was. It was like Vincent D'Onofrio was Sherlock Holmes, and of course, Ames was his Dr. Watson.
Yeah. In fact, Sherlock Holmes, there was at least 4 or 5 adaptations that were pretty good.
Oh,
The
yeah.
best one I think was the one with the guy from England.
Oh, yeah, the original English series. There is a series right now. I guess it's the sister of Sherlock Holmes, Leah Holmes. I guess it's running a stream on one of these streaming channels. For what I understand, there, I got to look that up there.
Yeah, it might be interesting if they hold true to the Sherlock Holmes theme. That might be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of those type of movies. I liked Hillary Queen, and there was only like 13 episodes, but that was a
You
good
know,
show.
you know what's funny is I used to sit and watch Murder She Wrote when I
Hmm.
think either when I was injured or sick or something. I would sit and watch it with my mom, and we came up with a theory that she's actually the murderer all
Oh,
along.
wow.
You know?
Wow.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?
I got to
Yeah,
write.
because
Well, it's
we
kind of
just
like
came up with that.
there's a series in England called Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
That's
Mm,
about these 2 guys that are trying to investigate murders that happened in this little town of Midsummer. Which the thing I'm getting from it is, I don't think I want to visit that town. And almost always they show up getting murdered in the forest, so it's like, and I want to stay out of the forest. But that's a pretty good show because it's again a mystery where something happens and you have to wait till the end till they figure it out. And that to me is great. The only reason Columbo works is because of watching how he does it.
oh
But
yeah.
but other than that, most murder mysteries they're good if you don't know what happened and you have to figure it out by yourself with them at the end.
Yeah, I mean, like Law and Order. I mean, I wish Columbo kind of had a Law and Order ending to find out if the person really did it, but
Yes. Yeah.
it is cool to have him find a way to bust that the perp.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think that concept would have worked with any other actor. Peter Falk was perfect.
Oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
he was absolutely perfect for that role. I don't
He
think it'd have
was.
worked
Yeah.
with anybody else.
Oh no.
What about Beretta with Robert Blake and his bird there? Was he a police officer or was he just a regular detective there? I never really got the full
I'm
scoop
not
on
really
him.
sure. I didn't watch that one much.
I know my parents used to watch it a lot as well. They watched it a lot of primetime programs in the 1970s there.
Yeah, and I actually even go back to the 60s and watching some of my shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm probably one of the last
Yeah.
few people left that saw the original Batman as they were airing with Adam West.
Oh yeah,
They were new to me.
I remember seeing that on the syndicate on the at one of those afternoons movies on one of the local stations. I remember it was like, oh wow, a Batman movie. I remember during the Batman craze, the Royal Oak Music Theater in Royal Oak, Michigan, had a screening of this of that particular Batman movie, and it was campy, it was cheesy in a lot of ways.
Oh
But then
yeah.
again, that's how movies were like back at that period there. And this was, of course, in the height of the Batman craze during that year, 1970. No, I don't know, 1989.
well,
That was,
I mean that Batman was kind of cheesy during that time. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I actually,
it was
I
entertaining.
it was
yeah,
very entertaining and often humorless when it wasn't supposed to be at times.
Well, the thing that
I
always
seen
got
some
me. Go ahead.
I seen some really old footage of Batman, like in the 30s.
Oh yeah,
I
I've
have,
seen those
We got
serials.
it. Yes, I remember those. I was watching one of those couple of times on YouTube. You could find them right now as we speak.
oh, really?
Yes, they're
I,
still up there. And you could see there was things were a lot different than what it was back then.